The sprawling metropolis of Aurion Prime shimmered under the light of its twin suns. Towering skyscrapers glistened, advanced shuttles zipped through the air, and holographic advertisements floated above the bustling streets. At the heart of the city stood the Federation Council Hall, an imposing structure symbolizing the unity and power of the Galactic Federation of Aurion. Inside the council chamber, tension was palpable. High Counselor Alara Rin, a woman of imposing stature and keen intellect, stood at the central podium. Around her, representatives from the Federation's many colonized planets listened intently, their faces a mix of anticipation and skepticism. Esteemed members of the Federation Council, Alara began, her voice echoing through the chamber, we gather today to discuss a matter of utmost importance. Our chief scientist, Dr. Kalen Voss, has made a groundbreaking discovery. Dr. Kalen Voss, a tall man with sharp features and an air of mystery, stepped forward. His eyes gleamed with excitement as he activated a holographic display. The room dimmed, and a projection of the Xalorian star maps appeared, highlighting a newly discovered sector. These maps, remnants of the ancient Xalorian civilization, point us to an uncharted sector rich in resources and ripe for colonization, Kalen explained, his voice filled with enthusiasm. This could be the key to ensuring our continued expansion and prosperity. Murmurs spread through the council members. Some leaned forward, captivated by the prospect of new opportunities, while others exchanged wary glances. We must consider the potential dangers, Counselor Thara interjected, her tone cautious. We know little about this sector and its possible inhabitants. Alara raised a hand to silence the growing chatter. That is why we will send our best to lead this expedition. Captain Aria Solara has proven herself time and again. She will ensure the safety and success of this mission. The doors at the back of the chamber opened, and Captain Aria Solara entered. Her presence commanded respect. She was known for her bravery and strategic mind. As she walked to the front, the room fell silent, all eyes on her. I am honored to lead this mission, Aria said, her voice steady and confident. We will explore this new frontier, secure it for the Federation, and ensure that it becomes a beacon of hope and opportunity for all. The council members whispered among themselves, weighing the risks and rewards. After a tense moment, they began to nod in agreement. The vote was taken, and the majority favored the expedition. Alara approached Aria, handing her a formal directive. Captain Solara, you are hereby charged with the exploration and colonization of this new sector. May your journey be safe and your discoveries fruitful. As the meeting adjourned, Aria stepped outside the council hall. She looked up at the stars, her mind already racing with plans and possibilities. The challenge ahead was immense, but she was ready. In the distance, the lights of Aurion Prime twinkled like a sea of stars, and above them, the vast expanse of space beckoned. Aria knew that this mission would not only test her skills, but also shape the future of the Federation. Dr. Kalen Voss remained behind in the chamber, collecting his data. His mind buzzed with the implications of the Xalorian maps. The sector they pointed to was more than just a new frontier. It held secrets that could revolutionize their understanding of the universe. As the last of the council members filtered out, High Counselor Alara Rin lingered. She approached Kalen, her expression thoughtful. Do you truly believe this sector holds the key to our future? Kalen nodded, his gaze fixed on the holographic star maps. I do, Counselor, but we must be cautious. The Xalorians were a powerful and enigmatic race. We must be prepared for anything. Alara considered his words, her mind already turning to the political ramifications. The success of this mission could strengthen her position, but failure could spell disaster. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Aurion Prime, in a hidden underground base, Terran Jarek and his closest advisors gathered. The rebel leader's eyes burned with determination as he reviewed the latest intelligence reports. Our sources within the Federation Council confirm it, Terran said, his voice low but intense. They've discovered a new sector, rich in resources. This is our chance to secure a future for our people. His advisors exchanged glances, some excited, others anxious. The rebel faction had long fought for independence from the Federation, and this new discovery could tip the balance in their favor. We must act swiftly, Terran continued. If we can reach the sector first, we can claim it as our own and establish a stronghold. The Federation won't be able to ignore us any longer. The room buzzed with the energy of a shared purpose. Plans were drawn, and orders were given. As Terran's team prepared for the upcoming mission, they knew the stakes were higher than ever. Back at the Federation's main spaceport, Captain Aria Solara oversaw the final preparations for the expedition. Crews loaded supplies and equipment onto the flagship, the Aurora. The ship was a marvel of engineering, equipped with the latest technology and designed for deep space exploration. Aria took a moment to survey the scene, feeling a sense of pride and responsibility. This mission was more than just a journey into the unknown. It was a testament to humanity's spirit of exploration and resilience. As she boarded the Aurora, she was greeted by her first officer, Commander Lyle Drayden. Lyle had been with her on numerous missions, and his loyalty and expertise were invaluable. "All systems are go, Captain," Lyle reported. "We're ready to launch on your command." Aria nodded, her resolve firm. "Excellent. Inform the crew to prepare for departure. We're about to make history." As the Aurora lifted off, leaving the familiar confines of Aurion Prime behind, Aria felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The journey ahead was fraught with unknowns, but she was ready to face whatever challenges came her way. The ship ascended into the vastness of space, the stars stretching out before them like a sea of possibilities. Aria knew that this mission would test their limits, but it was also a chance to prove their capabilities and carve out a new future for the Federation. As the Aurora sped towards the uncharted sector, the crew settled into their routines. Scientists, engineers, and explorers alike worked tirelessly, each driven by the promise of discovery. Dr. Kalen Voss, in his private lab aboard the ship, pored over the Xalorian star maps, seeking to unlock their secrets. The ancient alien technology fascinated him, and he knew that understanding it could hold the key to their success. Meanwhile, Terran Jarek's rebel faction moved swiftly. Utilizing secret channels and hidden bases, they prepared their own ships for the race to the new sector. Terran knew that they had to stay one step ahead of the Federation if they were to secure their claim. The stage was set, and the race was on. As the Aurora and the rebel ships hurtled through space, the fate of the new sector, and potentially the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. Unbeknownst to them, the mysterious signal detected from within the sector continued to broadcast, its origin and purpose shrouded in mystery. As they drew closer to their destination, the true nature of their mission began to unfold, setting the stage for an adventure that would test their courage, their unity, and their very humanity. As the Aurora soared through the vast expanse of space, the crew settled into the rhythm of their journey. The stars outside the viewport stretched into brilliant lines, a testament to their incredible speed as they traversed the cosmos. Captain Aria Solara moved purposefully through the corridors of her ship, her presence a steadying force for those under her command. In the ship's state-of-the-art lab, Dr. Kalen Voss was immersed in his work. The Xalorian star maps hovered in a holographic display before him, their intricate patterns and symbols demanding his full attention. Each piece of the puzzle brought him closer to understanding the ancient civilization that had created them. Kalen's assistant, a young scientist named Lynn, approached with a data tablet in hand. "Dr. Voss, I've completed the analysis of the signal we detected. It's definitely artificial, and it's originating from the heart of the sector." Kalen looked up, his eyes alight with curiosity. "Any idea what it could be?" Lynn shook her head. "Not yet, but the signal is consistent and shows signs of advanced technology. If it's Xalorian, it could be the key to unlocking everything we hope to find." Kalen nodded, a sense of urgency mingling with his excitement. "Keep monitoring it. We need to be prepared for anything." Meanwhile, in the ship's command center, Commander Lyle Drayden was coordinating with the crew, ensuring that everything was running smoothly. The bridge buzzed with activity as officers monitored their systems and plotted their course. Aria joined Lyle at the central console, her eyes scanning the data readouts. "How are we looking, Commander?" Lyle smiled, his confidence infectious. "All systems are green, Captain. We're on schedule to reach the sector in 3 days." Aria nodded, but her mind was already racing ahead. "Good. I want a full briefing with all department heads in 2 hours. We need to go over our plans and ensure everyone is ready for what we might encounter." As the crew continued their preparations, the atmosphere aboard the Aurora was a mix of anticipation and determination. Each member knew the importance of their mission and was driven by the promise of discovery and the challenges that lay ahead. In a quiet corner of the ship, Ensign Tessa Lee, a communications specialist, was fine-tuning the long-range transmitters. She paused, staring out at the stars, and couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. She had dreamed of exploring the unknown since she was a child, and now she was part of a mission that could shape the future of the Federation. "Lost in thought, Tessa?" a voice said, breaking her reverie. Tessa turned to see Lieutenant Marcus Hale, the ship's chief engineer, leaning against the doorway. She smiled. "Just thinking about what's out there, Marcus. This sector, it could change everything." Marcus nodded, his expression serious. "It could, but it's also going to be dangerous. We need to be ready for anything." Tessa's smile faded slightly as she considered his words. "I know, but that's why we're here, isn't it? To face the unknown and come back stronger." Marcus clapped her on the shoulder. "That's the spirit. Let's make sure everything's in top shape for when we get there." As the hours passed, the crew continued their meticulous preparations. The sense of unity and purpose aboard the Aurora was palpable. In the mess hall, conversations buzzed with speculation about what they might find. Would they discover habitable worlds, untouched by sentient life? Or perhaps ruins and technologies left behind by the Xalorians? Back in the command center, Aria convened the briefing with her department heads. The room was filled with the ship's brightest minds, each an expert in their field. "All right, everyone," Aria began, her tone authoritative. "We've got 3 days until we reach the sector. Dr. Voss, bring us up to speed on the Xalorian maps and the signal." Callan stood, activating the holographic display. The maps indicate multiple points of interest within the sector. "The signal we're detecting seems to be coming from a central location here." He pointed to a glowing dot on the map. "It's consistent and shows signs of advanced technology. It could be Xalorian, or it could be something else entirely." Lieutenant Hale leaned forward, studying the display. "If it's Xalorian, we need to be cautious. Their technology is incredibly advanced, and we have no idea what kind of defenses or traps they might have left behind." Aria nodded. "Agreed. Our primary objective is to secure the sector for the Federation, but our safety comes first. We'll approach with caution and prioritize reconnaissance." Commander Drayden added, "We'll need to set up a perimeter once we arrive, establish secure landing zones, and make sure we have an escape route if things go sideways." Aria looked around the room, meeting each person's gaze. "We're venturing into the unknown. Stay sharp, stay focused, and remember why we're here. This mission could define the future of the Federation." The room buzzed with a sense of purpose as the meeting concluded. Each department head left with clear instructions and a renewed determination. Aria watched them go, feeling a swell of pride in her crew. They were ready for whatever awaited them. As the Aurora continued its journey, the days passed quickly. The crew's anticipation grew with each passing hour. Finally, the day arrived when they would reach the uncharted sector. The bridge was a hive of activity as the countdown to their arrival began. Aria stood at the command console, her gaze fixed on the view screen. "Initiate deceleration," she ordered. The stars outside the viewports shifted from streaks of light to distinct points as the ship slowed. The uncharted sector loomed ahead, a dark expanse filled with the promise of discovery and danger. "Prepare for scan," Aria commanded. "I want a full report on any anomalies or potential threats." The crew worked swiftly, their eyes on their screens as they began the detailed scan of the sector. The tension on the bridge was thick, each person focused on their task. "Captain," Lynn's voice broke the silence, "we're picking up multiple energy signatures. Some of them are consistent with Xalorian technology, but there are others, something we've never seen before." Aria's eyes narrowed. "Patch it through to the main display." The holographic display lit up with a map of the sector, dotted with various energy signatures. At the center was the strongest signal, pulsing steadily. "That's our target," Aria said. "Set a course for the central signal, but proceed with caution. We don't know what's out there." As the Aurora moved deeper into the sector, the crew remained on high alert. The closer they got to the source of the signal, the more complex and intriguing the readings became. "Dr. Voss," monitoring the data, felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The Xalorian artifacts could hold the key to unimaginable advancements, but the unknown elements were a wild card. "Captain," he called out, "we should approach this as a scientific mission as much as a colonization effort. We need to understand what we're dealing with before we make any moves." Aria nodded. "Agreed. But we also need to secure the area. We can't afford to let any potential threats catch us off guard." The Aurora came to a stop, hovering above the source of the signal. Below them, a planet shrouded in misty clouds came into view, its surface dotted with what appeared to be ancient structures. "Prepare a landing party," Aria ordered. "We'll go down and take a closer look. Dr. Voss, you're with me. Commander Drayden, you have the bridge." As the landing party prepared to depart, the sense of anticipation was almost tangible. They were about to set foot on a world that had been untouched for millennia, a world that could hold the secrets of the Xalorians and the future of the Federation. The shuttle descended through the planet's atmosphere, the landscape below becoming clearer with each passing moment. Ancient ruins spread out beneath them, their structures hinting at a once great civilization. As they touched down, the team disembarked, their eyes wide with wonder. Aria took a deep breath, the air tinged with an unfamiliar scent. "Stay alert," she cautioned. "We don't know what we're dealing with here." Dr. Voss immediately began scanning the area, his equipment buzzing with activity. "The energy readings are off the charts. Whatever the source of the signal is, it's incredibly powerful." The team moved cautiously through the ruins, their senses heightened. The structures around them were adorned with intricate carvings and strange symbols, a testament to the Xalorians' advanced culture. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, and the ground beneath their feet began to vibrate. "What the?" one of the team members exclaimed. Dr. Voss's eyes widened. "The artifact! It's responding to our presence." Before they could react, a beam of light shot up from the center of the ruins, illuminating the sky. The signal they had detected was now broadcasting at full strength, its purpose and origin still a mystery. Aria's hand went to her communicator. "Commander Drayden, do you copy? We've activated something down here. Prepare for possible hostiles." As they regrouped, the team knew they had crossed a threshold. Whatever lay ahead, they were now fully committed to uncovering the secrets of this ancient world. The journey had only just begun, and the stakes were higher than ever. The beam of light shot into the sky, casting an eerie glow over the ancient ruins. Captain Aria Solara's heart pounded as she scanned the surroundings, half expecting something, or someone, to emerge from the shadows. The humming from the artifact grew louder, reverberating through the ground and making the air feel charged with energy. "Stay sharp, everyone," Aria ordered, her voice steady despite the tension. "Dr. Voss, any idea what we've activated?" Dr. Kalen Voss, engrossed in his scanner's readings, shook his head slowly. "This is unlike anything I've ever seen. The energy levels are unprecedented. It's possible we've triggered some kind of defense mechanism or an ancient communication system." As they moved cautiously through the ruins, the team noticed changes in their environment. The mist that had previously obscured their view began to dissipate, revealing more of the ancient structures. Symbols and carvings on the walls started to glow with a soft blue light, pulsing in sync with the hum of the artifact. Lieutenant Marcus Hale, ever the pragmatist, kept his hand on his weapon. "Captain, we need to determine if this is a threat. We can't afford to be caught off guard." Aria nodded in agreement. "Agreed. Dr. Voss, focus on deciphering those symbols. They might give us a clue about what we've activated. The rest of you, form a perimeter. We need to secure this area." As the team set to work, the hum of the artifact seemed to reach a crescendo. Suddenly, the beam of light split into multiple rays, each one pointing in a different direction across the ruins. The ground shook again, and a hidden door in one of the larger structures slid open with a deep, resonant sound. Aria exchanged a glance with Dr. Voss. "Looks like we've found our way in," she said, her voice tinged with both excitement and caution. The team approached the open door, their footsteps echoing on the ancient stone. Inside, they found a large chamber filled with advanced technology, most of it dormant, but still exuding an aura of power. At the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested a spherical device covered in intricate patterns. This must be the source of the signal, Kalen said, stepping closer to examine the device. It's a Xalorian artifact, no doubt about it, but its purpose, that's the real question. As Kalen reached out to touch the sphere, it emitted a series of holographic images that floated above it, depicting scenes of Zal, Aurion life, and their interactions with various otherworldly beings. The images were accompanied by a series of symbols and characters, a language long dead yet preserved in this ancient technology. These images, they tell a story, Kalen murmured, his eyes wide with wonder. The Xalorians were in contact with other advanced civilizations. This device could contain invaluable information about their history and technology. Aria, standing beside him, felt a mix of awe and responsibility. We need to secure this device and get it back to the Aurora. It's too important to leave here. As the team prepared to move the artifact, their communicators crackled to life. Captain Solara, this is Commander Drayden. We've detected multiple incoming vessels. Their signatures don't match any known Federation or Rebel ships. They could be hostiles. Aria's jaw tightened. Understood, Commander. We're on our way back with a significant find. Prepare for immediate extraction and possible engagement. The team moved swiftly, carrying the artifact through the ruins and back to their shuttle. As they boarded, the sky above them darkened with the approach of the unknown vessels. The Aurora stood ready, its defenses primed for any potential threat. As the shuttle ascended, Aria kept her gaze fixed on the view screen, where the alien ships were becoming visible. Sleek and ominous, they hovered with an air of menace, their intentions unclear but undoubtedly hostile. All hands, battle stations, Aria commanded as the shuttle docked. We need to protect this ship and the artifact at all costs. The bridge of the Aurora was a flurry of activity as crew members scrambled to their positions. Aria took her place at the command console, the weight of the situation pressing down on her. Status report, Commander, she barked. Lyle Drayden's fingers flew over the controls. We've identified 6 vessels, Captain. They're armed and appear to be scanning us. No communications yet. Aria's mind raced. Open a channel. Let's see if we can establish contact. A tense silence filled the bridge as the communication line opened. The alien ships continued to hover ominously, their intentions a mystery. Then, without warning, a distorted voice crackled through the speakers. Federation vessel, you have trespassed in protected space. Surrender the artifact and leave immediately, or face the consequences. Aria's eyes narrowed. This is Captain Aria Solara of the Federation starship Aurora. We are on a mission of exploration and mean no harm. We seek peaceful communication and understanding. The alien voice responded with a chilling finality. Your presence here is a violation. Prepare to be boarded. The communication cut off abruptly, and the alien ships began to move into attack formation. Aria turned to her crew, her resolve hardening. Prepare to engage. We must protect the artifact and defend this ship. As the alien ships closed in, the Aurora's weapon systems powered up. The space around them crackled with energy as both sides readied for battle. Aria knew that this encounter could determine the future of their mission and possibly the future of the Federation itself. The first salvo of enemy fire streaked towards the Aurora, and the ship shuddered as its shields absorbed the impact. The bridge crew worked with precision and urgency, returning fire with calculated strikes. Target their lead ship, Aria ordered, her voice steady amidst the chaos. We need to break their formation. Lieutenant Hale, manning the weapons console, nodded and fired a barrage of energy blasts at the nearest enemy vessel. The alien ship rocked under the assault, but its shields held firm. Shields at 70%, Drayden reported. They're coordinating their attacks. We need to outmaneuver them. Aria's mind raced. Helm, initiate evasive maneuvers. Keep us moving. We can't be an easy target. The Aurora darted through space, dodging enemy fire and returning calculated strikes. The alien ships, though smaller, were highly maneuverable and relentless in their assault. The battle raged on, each side pushing their ships to the limit. As the Aurora weaved through the onslaught, Kalen Voss monitored the artifact's readings. The device remained stable, its energy output constant. Whatever its purpose, it was now intricately linked to their survival. We need to buy ourselves some time, Kalen suggested. If we can create a distraction, we might be able to slip away. Aria considered his words. Commander Drayden, deploy a decoy probe. Make it look like we're abandoning the artifact. Drayden nodded and initiated the deployment. A small probe, emitting a signal mimicking the artifact's energy signature, launched into space. The alien ships, detecting the new target, hesitated momentarily. Now, full speed ahead, Aria commanded. Let's get out of their range. The Aurora surged forward, its engines straining as it accelerated away from the enemy fleet. The alien ships, momentarily distracted by the decoy, regrouped and resumed their pursuit. Captain, they're still on us, Hale reported, but we've gained some distance. Aria's mind raced with possibilities. They needed to outthink their opponents. Prepare to execute a jump to the nearest safe coordinates. We need to get out of their range and regroup. The crew worked quickly, calculating the jump and preparing the ship for the sudden acceleration. The alien ships closed in, their weapons primed for another attack. Jump in 3, 2, 1, now, Aria commanded. The Aurora lurched as it entered hyperspace, the stars outside stretching into lines once more. The alien ships vanished from the view screen, left behind in the wake of their escape. As the ship stabilized, a collective sigh of relief washed over the bridge. They had evaded immediate danger, but the threat was far from over. Status report, Aria demanded, her voice calm but firm. Shields are holding, but we've taken some damage, Drayden replied. We'll need to make repairs as soon as possible. Aria nodded. Good work, everyone. Let's take this moment to regroup and assess our situation. We're not out of the woods yet. She turned to Kalen, who was still monitoring the artifact. What do you make of all this, Dr. Voss? Why would they go to such lengths to protect this sector? Kalen shook his head, his expression thoughtful. The Xalorian artifact is clearly of immense value. It's possible that these aliens see it as a threat or a sacred object. We need to learn more about their motivations. Aria sighed, the weight of their mission pressing down on her. Agreed. But first, we need to ensure our own safety. Let's find a secure location to make repairs and plan our next move. As the Aurora continued through hyperspace, the crew worked diligently to assess and repair the damage. The unknown sector held many secrets, and they had only just begun to uncover its mysteries. The challenges ahead would test their resolve, but they were determined to see their mission through to the end. The Aurora glided through hyperspace, the rhythmic hum of the engines a comforting backdrop to the tense atmosphere aboard the ship. Captain Aria Solara stood on the bridge, watching the stars blur past on the view screen. The immediate danger had been evaded, but she knew they were far from safe. Helm, bring us out of hyperspace at the nearest uncharted system, Aria ordered. We need to find a place to regroup and make repairs. The crew worked with precision, adjusting the ship's course. Within moments, the Aurora emerged from hyperspace into a new star system. A distant sun bathed the surrounding planets in a soft glow, and a massive gas giant dominated the view, its colorful bands swirling in a mesmerizing dance. Scan the area, Aria commanded. I want to know if there are any potential threats or habitable locations nearby. Lieutenant Marcus Hale, still manning the sensors, initiated a sweep of the system. Scans indicate no immediate threats, Captain. There's a small moon orbiting the gas giant that appears to have a breathable atmosphere. It could be a good place to set down and make repairs. Aria nodded. Set a course for the moon. We'll make it our temporary base. As the Aurora approached the moon, its surface came into clearer view. Rugged terrain and jagged mountains marked the landscape, interspersed with valleys and plains covered in strange, luminescent flora. The sight was both alien and beautiful, a stark reminder of the vast diversity of the universe. The ship descended through the moon's thin atmosphere, landing smoothly in a broad valley. Aria gathered her senior officers for a briefing in the ship's conference room. Dr. Kalen Voss, Commander Lyle Drayden, Lieutenant Marcus Hale, and Ensign Tessa Lee were among those present. We've bought ourselves some time, but we can't afford to waste it, Aria began. Our priority is to repair the ship and prepare for any further encounters. Dr. Voss, I want you to continue studying the artifact. We need to understand its significance and why those alien ships were so determined to retrieve it. Kalen nodded. I'll set up a lab here on the moon and begin detailed analysis. This artifact could hold the key to understanding the Xalorians and possibly even the motivations of our pursuers. Aria turned to Lyle. Commander, I need you to oversee the repair efforts. Coordinate with Lieutenant Hale and make sure our defenses are reinforced. We can't be caught off guard again. Lyle gave a determined nod. Consider it done, Captain. We'll have the Aurora back to full strength as soon as possible. Tessa, the communications specialist, leaned forward. Captain, I can set up a perimeter of communication relays around the valley. It'll give us an early warning system in case those ships come back. Aria smiled. Good idea, Tessa. Get on it. Everyone, let's move quickly and efficiently. We don't know how much time we have. The team dispersed, each member heading off to their assigned tasks. The valley bustled with activity as the crew worked tirelessly to repair and fortify the Aurora. Makeshift labs were set up, communication relays were deployed, and the ship's defenses were strengthened. Dr. Voss and his team focused on the artifact, setting up advanced scanning equipment and running various tests. The device continued to emit a steady energy signal, its patterns and symbols slowly revealing more about its origins. This artifact is remarkable, Kalen murmured, his eyes fixed on the holographic projections. It's like a repository of Xalorian knowledge. If we can decode these symbols, we might unlock a wealth of information. His assistant, Lynn, looked up from her console. Dr. Voss, I've found a correlation between some of these symbols and known Xalorian language fragments. It's like a puzzle coming together. Kalen's excitement was palpable. Excellent work, Lynn. Keep at it. The more we understand, the better prepared we'll be. Outside the ship, the repair crews worked under the watchful eye of Commander Drayden. He coordinated the efforts, ensuring that every detail was attended to. The ship's hull was patched, systems were recalibrated, and weapons were reloaded. Lieutenant Hale, overseeing the defensive fortifications, walked the perimeter with Tessa, inspecting the communication relays. These should give us a decent early warning, he said. But we need to stay vigilant. There's no telling when those ships might return. Tessa nodded, adjusting a relay. I just hope we can buy enough time for Dr. Voss to finish his work. Whatever that artifact is, it's clearly important. As the day turned to night on the alien moon, the crew of the Aurora continued their efforts, driven by a X of determination and uncertainty. Aria moved through the camp, checking on progress and offering words of encouragement. She knew her crew was tired, but their resolve was unshaken. In the quiet hours of the night, Aria found a moment to herself. She stood on a ridge overlooking the valley, the alien landscape bathed in the light of distant stars. Her mind wandered to the challenges they had faced and the unknowns that lay ahead. Her communicator buzzed, pulling her from her thoughts. It was Commander Drayden. Captain, we've picked up some unusual activity on the perimeter. Could be nothing, but I think you should take a look. Aria's heart skipped a beat. On my way. She made her way to the command post, where Drayden and Hale were examining the perimeter sensors. What have we got? Drayden pointed to the screen. Motion detected in the eastern quadrant. Could be wildlife, but it's worth investigating. Aria nodded. Agreed. Assemble a small team. Let's check it out. A group of armed crew members, led by Aria and Drayden, moved cautiously through the moonlit terrain. The strange flora glowed softly around them, casting eerie shadows. As they approached the eastern quadrant, they heard faint rustling sounds. Stay alert, Aria whispered, signaling for the team to spread out. They moved quietly, scanning the area with their weapons ready. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, raising their hands in a gesture of surrender. Don't shoot, the figure called out. I'm not your enemy. Aria stepped forward, her weapon still trained on the stranger. Identify yourself. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a humanoid appearance with slightly elongated limbs and luminescent eyes. My name is Lyra. I'm a researcher, a survivor of the Xalorian legacy. Aria's eyes widened. A Xalorian survivor? Lyra nodded. I've been hiding here, studying the remnants of my people. The artifact you found, it's crucial, but you're not the only ones looking for it. Aria lowered her weapon slightly, still wary but intrigued. Who else is looking for it? Lyra's expression grew serious. A faction of my people, driven by a desire to reclaim our lost power. They'll stop at nothing to get the artifact. Aria exchanged a glance with Drayden, the weight of this revelation sinking in. We need to talk. Come with us. As they led Lyra back to the camp, Aria's mind raced with the implications of this new information. The challenges they faced were greater than she had imagined, but with Lyra's help, they might just have a chance to unravel the mysteries of the Xalorian artifact and protect their mission. Back at the camp, Lyra was given a place to rest and some food. Once she had recovered a bit, Aria convened a meeting with her senior officers and Dr. Voss in the conference room. Lyra began to explain. The Xalorians were once a great civilization, masters of advanced technology. But we became divided. Some of us sought to use our knowledge for peaceful exploration, while others wanted to harness its power for control. The artifact you found is a key to that power. Kalen leaned forward, fascinated. What exactly does the artifact do? It's a repository of knowledge and a powerful energy source, Lyra explained. It can enhance technology, provide limitless energy, and even manipulate matter. But in the wrong hands, it could be catastrophic. Arya's expression grew grim. And the faction that's after it? They're the ones we encountered? Lyra nodded. Yes. They're determined to reclaim our lost glory, even if it means conquering other civilizations. They believe the artifact will give them the power they need to do that. Arya took a deep breath, the gravity of their situation clear. We need to protect this artifact and keep it out of their hands. Lyra, can you help us understand it better? Help us use it to defend ourselves? Lyra hesitated for a moment. Hen nodded. I'll do what I can, but we must be careful. The artifact is powerful and unpredictable. The meeting continued late into the night as plans were made and strategies discussed. With Lyra's knowledge and the crew's determination, they had a chance to protect the artifact and uncover the secrets it held. As dawn broke on the alien moon, the crew of the Aurora continued their preparations. The challenges ahead were daunting, but they were ready to face them together. The mission had become more than just an exploration. It was now a fight for survival and the future of the Federation. Arya stood at the edge of the camp, looking out at the rising sun. The path ahead was uncertain, but she knew they were on the brink of something extraordinary. With Lyra's help, they would uncover the truth of the Xalorian legacy and protect the artifact at all costs. The journey was far from over, but they were ready for whatever came next. Together, they would navigate the unknown and forge a new future in the stars. The dawn on the alien moon brought a renewed sense of purpose to the crew of the Aurora. Captain Aria Solara, standing at the edge of the camp, watched the sunrise with a mixture of determination and anticipation. The discovery of Lyra, a Xalorian survivor, had added an unexpected twist to their mission, but it also provided them with a valuable ally. The camp was abuzz with activity as the crew continued their repairs and fortifications. In the makeshift lab, Dr. Kalen Voss and his team worked closely with Lyra, deciphering the intricacies of the artifact. The holographic projections and symbols that had once seemed indecipherable were now slowly revealing their secrets. This artifact is more than just a power source, Lyra explained, her luminescent eyes reflecting the glowing symbols. It contains the combined knowledge of the Xalorian civilization. If we can fully understand it, we might be able to use its energy to bolster our defenses and perhaps even communicate with the faction pursuing us. Kalen nodded, his fascination with the artifact growing with each passing hour. We need to unlock its full potential, but we must be cautious. The energy readings are incredibly volatile. As they worked, Aria and Commander Lyle Drayden coordinated the defense efforts. The communication relays Tessa had set up were operational, providing them with a clear perimeter warning system. The crew's morale was high, bolstered by the knowledge that they were making progress. By mid-morning, the repairs to the Aurora were nearly complete. Lieutenant Marcus Hale reported to Aria with a sense of accomplishment. Captain, the ship's systems are back online, and we've reinforced the shields. We should be ready to leave this moon soon. Aria nodded, satisfied with the progress. Excellent work, Marcus, but we need to ensure we're prepared for any eventuality. Let's run one final systems check before we take off. As the crew carried out their final preparations, Aria gathered her senior officers and Lyra for a briefing. The conference room was filled with a sense of urgency and determination. Lyra, have you been able to make any progress with the artifact? Aria asked, turning to the Xalorian. Lyra nodded. Yes, we've made significant strides. The artifact can be used to create a powerful energy shield around the ship. It should provide additional protection against any attacks. However, using it will drain its energy quickly. We'll need to use it sparingly. Kalen added, "We've also discovered a way to potentially communicate with the pursuing faction. The artifact can send out a signal on a frequency they might recognize. It's risky, but it could buy us some time to negotiate." Aria considered their options. We need to be prepared for both combat and diplomacy. If we can avoid a confrontation, it's worth the attempt. But if they refuse to negotiate, we'll need to be ready to defend ours, elves. The plan was set. As the crew finalized their preparations, the tension in the air was palpable. They knew that the next few hours could determine the outcome of their mission and the fate of the artifact. With everything in place, the Aurora lifted off from the moon's surface, ascending into the vastness of space once more. The ship's systems hummed with renewed energy, and the crew was ready for whatever lay ahead. "Captain, we're detecting the alien ships on our long-range sensors," Commander Drayden reported. "They're moving towards our previous location on the moon. It looks like they haven't spotted us yet." Aria's mind raced with possibilities. Set a course to intercept them. We need to get their attention before they reach the moon. As the Aurora approached the alien fleet, the tension on the bridge grew. The enemy ships were sleek and formidable, their ominous presence a stark reminder of the threat they faced. "Open a channel," Aria ordered. "Let's see if we can talk to them." The communication line crackled to life, and the distorted voice from before filled the bridge. "Federation vessel, you continue to defy us. Surrender the artifact, or face annihilation." Aria took a deep breath. "This is Captain Aria Solara of the Federation starship Aurora. We seek a peaceful resolution. We've learned much about the artifact and believe it can benefit us all." There was a long pause, and then the voice responded with icy resolve. "You speak of peace, yet you trespass in our sacred space and steal what is rightfully ours. There can be no peace." Aria glanced at Lyra, who nodded and activated the artifact's communication signal. The ship's systems buzzed as the artifact sent out a pulse, its energy reaching out to the alien ships. "We've sent you a signal," Aria continued. "It contains information about the artifact and our intentions. We ask that you review it and reconsider. We want to avoid conflict." The bridge was silent as they waited for a response. The alien ships held their position, seemingly considering the transmission. Finally, the voice returned, slightly less hostile but still wary. "Your signal has been received. We will review your information. However, know that our patience is limited." Aria nodded. "Thank you. We await your response." The communication line closed, and Aria turned to her crew. "Stay alert. This could go either way." The next few hours were a tense waiting game. The Aurora maintained its position, ready to defend itself if necessary. In the meantime, Kalen and Lyra continued to study the artifact, seeking any additional advantages they could leverage. As the alien ships reviewed the signal, Lyra explained more about her people's history and the internal conflicts that had led to their current state. The Xalorians had once been united in their pursuit of knowledge, but the desire for power had fractured their society. "We were once explorers, like you," Lyra said softly, "but our thirst for power led to our downfall. The artifact is a symbol of that power. It can be used for great good or terrible harm. We must ensure it's used wisely." Aria listened intently, her resolve to protect the artifact and her crew strengthening. "We will do everything in our power to ensure it's used for the right purposes." "Your knowledge is invaluable, Lyra." As the hours passed, the alien ships finally responded. The communication line opened, and the voice, now calmer, spoke. "Federation vessel, we have reviewed your information. While we remain distrustful of your intentions, we are willing to discuss terms for a temporary truce. Meet us at the following coordinates." A set of coordinates appeared on the screen, and Aria nodded. "Understood. We will meet you there. Solara out." As the Aurora set course for the meeting point, the crew prepared for the diplomatic encounter. The stakes were high, but there was a glimmer of hope that they could find a peaceful resolution. The meeting point was a neutral zone, a small asteroid field on the edge of the sector. The Aurora approached cautiously, and the alien ships followed suit. Both sides maintained a respectful distance as they prepared for the negotiations. Aria, accompanied by Lyra and Dr. Voss, prepared to board the shuttle that would take them to the designated meeting asteroid. Commander Drayden and Lieutenant Hale remained on the Aurora, ready to respond if things went awry. "Stay sharp," Aria reminded her team. "This is a delicate situation, but we must approach it with open minds and firm resolve." The shuttle departed the Aurora and made its way to the asteroid. As they landed, Aria could see the alien delegation approaching, a group of tall, imposing figures with luminescent eyes similar to Lyra's. The two groups met in the center of the asteroid, the tension palpable but tempered by the shared desire for resolution. "I am Captain Aria Solara of the Federation starship Aurora. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting." The leader of the alien delegation, a figure with an air of authority, stepped forward. "I am Zivron, leader of the Xalorian restoration faction. We seek the artifact to restore our civilization's glory. But we understand that outright conflict is not in anyone's best interest." Aria nodded, her gaze steady. "We seek to understand the artifact and use it for the benefit of all. Perhaps we can find common ground." The negotiations began, with both sides presenting their perspectives and concerns. Lyra played a crucial role, bridging the gap between her people's past and present. The discussions were challenging, filled with moments of tension and hope. After hours of negotiation, an agreement was reached. Both sides would work together to study the artifact and ensure its power was used responsibly. The Xalorian restoration faction would provide knowledge and assistance, while the Federation would offer resources and protection. As they shook hands, Aria felt a sense of accomplishment and relief. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but they had taken a significant step towards cooperation and understanding. Returning to the Aurora, Aria addressed her crew. "We have secured a truce and a partnership with the Xalorian restoration faction. This mission has become more complex, but also more meaningful. Together, we will uncover the secrets of the artifact and ensure it's used for the greater good." The crew responded with a mixture of relief and determination. The journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever came next, together. As the Aurora and the Xalorian ships prepared to depart, a new chapter in their mission began, one filled with hope, discovery, and the promise of a brighter future. As the Aurora and the Xalorian ships drifted in the asteroid field, the crew of the Aurora began to digest the implications of their newfound alliance. The tension of the previous days had given way to a cautious optimism, and preparations were underway to begin joint studies of the artifact. Captain Aria Solara stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the view screen showing the alien vessels. "Commander Drayden, set up a secure communication channel with Zivron's flagship. We need to coordinate our efforts." Commander Lyle Drayden nodded, initiating the link. Moments later, the image of Zivron appeared on the view screen. His luminescent eyes met Aria's with a mixture of curiosity and guarded respect. "Captain Solara," Zivron began, "our scientists are eager to begin the analysis of the artifact. We propose a joint research team comprised of both our experts and yours." Aria nodded. "Agreed. Dr. Voss and Lyra will lead our side of the research. We'll establish a secure laboratory aboard the Aurora where both teams can work together." Zevran inclined his head. "We shall send our best scientists to assist. Let us hope his collaboration brings us closer to understanding the artifact's true potential." With the details ironed out, the preparations for the joint research effort began. Dr. Kalen Voss and Lyra, accompanied by a team of Federation scientists, set up the laboratory aboard the Aurora. Shortly after, the Xalorian scientists arrived, their presence a mix of excitement and cautious interest. In the lab, the two teams worked side by side, their combined knowledge and expertise slowly unraveling the mysteries of the artifact. The energy it emitted was now being channeled into controlled experiments, and the symbols were being decoded at a much faster rate. "This is incredible," Kalen said, examining a projection of the artifact's energy patterns. "The artifact seems to respond to our intentions, as if it's attuned to sentient thought." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting the holographic glow. The Xalorians believed that their technology could be a symbiotic extension of themselves. This artifact is the pinnacle of that belief. As the joint research progressed, Aria and Zevran held regular meetings to discuss their findings and strategize their next steps. The atmosphere was one of cautious cooperation, both sides wary but hopeful that their alliance would hold. In one of these meetings, Zevran brought up a troubling possibility. Captain Solara, our initial scans of the artifact suggest it has a defensive capability, one that could be weaponized. We must ensure that it does not fall into the wrong hands, including those within our own factions who might seek to exploit it. Aria agreed, her expression serious. We need to establish strict security protocols. Only a select few should have access to the artifact, and its use must be carefully monitored. The security measures were implemented, and the joint research continued with a renewed sense of purpose. Meanwhile, the crew of the Aurora took advantage of the relative calm to rest and prepare for the challenges ahead. In the mess hall, Ensign Tessa Lee and Lieutenant Marcus Hale sat together, discussing the latest developments. It's strange working so closely with the Xalorians, Tessa admitted. But it feels like we're part of something bigger now. Marcus nodded, his expression thoughtful. We're on the brink of a major breakthrough. If we can understand this artifact, it could change everything. But we have to stay vigilant. There are still so many unknowns. The camaraderie and cautious optimism spread through the ship. The collaboration with the Xalorians was not without its tensions, but both sides were united by their shared goal of unlocking the artifact's secrets. One evening, Aria found herself in the observation deck, staring out at the stars. The weight of the mission pressed down on her, but she also felt a sense of pride in her crew and the progress they had made. Lyra joined her, standing silently for a moment before speaking. "Captain, I wanted to thank you for your openness and willingness to work with us," Lyra said softly. "Our people have a complicated history, but I believe this collaboration could mark a new beginning for both our civilizations." Aria smiled, her gaze still on the stars. "We have a long way to go, Lyra, but I'm hopeful. The future is uncertain, but together we have a chance to shape it for the better." Their moment of reflection was interrupted by a call from the bridge. "Captain, we've detected a new signal on the long-range sensors. It's faint, but it's moving towards us." Aria's mind raced. What kind of signal? Commander Drayden's voice was tense. "It's hard to say, but it doesn't match any known Federation or Xalorian signatures. It could be a new player in this game." Aria and Lyra exchanged a concerned glance before heading to the bridge. The new signal added a layer of urgency to their mission. They had made progress, but the appearance of another unknown element threatened to disrupt the fragile balance they had achieved. On the bridge, the crew worked to analyze the incoming signal. "Captain, it's still too far to get a clear reading, but it's definitely heading in our direction," Hale reported. Aria's mind raced with possibilities. "Increase our sensor range and try to get more data. We need to know what we're dealing with." As the minutes ticked by, the signal grew stronger and the data became clearer. The new vessel was fast and maneuverable, its design unlike anything they had encountered before. The tension on the bridge was palpable as the unknown ship closed in. "Open a channel," Aria ordered. "Let's see if we can establish contact." The communication line crackled to life, but there was no response. Instead, the ship's sensors picked up a series of encoded transmissions, their purpose unclear. "They're not responding to our hails," Drayden said, frustration evident in his voice. "But they're definitely trying to communicate with someone." Aria's eyes narrowed. "Could they be signaling reinforcements? We need to be ready for anything." The Aurora and the Xalorian ships moved into a defensive formation, their weapon systems primed and ready. The unknown vessel continued its approach, its intentions still a mystery. As the ship entered visual range, the bridge crew finally got a clear look at it. The vessel was sleek and angular, its hull covered in an array of unfamiliar symbols. It hovered just outside weapons range, as if assessing the situation. "Keep weapons locked, but don't fire unless provoked," Aria ordered. "We need to understand what they want." Suddenly, the communication line crackled again, and a distorted voice filled the bridge. "Federation vessel Aurora, we seek the artifact. Surrender it, or face annihilation." Aria's jaw tightened. "This is Captain Aria Solara. Identify yourself and state your purpose." There was a brief pause before the voice responded. "We are the Orivians, and the artifact belongs to us. Surrender it now or be destroyed." The tension on the bridge was palpable. Arya knew that the situation was rapidly escalating. We cannot surrender the artifact. It is being studied for the benefit of all. We seek peaceful resolution. The voice turned cold. There will be no peace until the artifact is returned. You have 1 minute to comply. Arya exchanged a glance with Drayden and Lyra. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We need to buy ourselves some time. As the Orivian vessel moved closer, the Aurora and the Xalorian ships began to execute their pre-planned maneuvers, weaving through the asteroid field in an attempt to avoid a direct confrontation. Fire warning shots, Arya commanded. We need to show them we're serious. The Aurora's weapons systems came to life, firing a series of controlled bursts that lit up the space around the Orivian vessel. The hostile ship hesitated, then returned fire with deadly precision. The Aurora shuddered under the impact, its shields absorbing the brunt of the attack. Shields holding at 80%, Hale reported, his fingers flying over the controls. Engage defensive protocols, Arya ordered. And keep an eye on those encoded transmissions. We need to know if they're calling for backup. As the battle intensified, the Aurora and the Xalorian ships worked in concert, their combined firepower holding the Orivian vessel at bay. But it was clear that the enemy was formidable, and the fight was far from over. In the midst of the chaos, Lyra and Kaelin continued their work on the artifact, hoping to unlock its defensive capabilities. The lab was a flurry of activity as they attempted to harness the device's energy for a last-ditch effort. We're close, Kaelin said, his voice strained. Just a little more time. Outside, the space around the Aurora was lit up with the exchange of laser fire and explosions. The Orivian vessel was relentless, its attacks growing more intense. Captain, we can't hold them off much longer, Drayden warned. We need that defensive shield now. Arya's mind raced. Kaelin, how much longer? Almost there, he replied, his hands moving frantically over the controls. Just a few more seconds. The Aurora shuddered again as another volley of enemy fire struck its shields. The situation was becoming increasingly desperate. Shields down to 60%, Hale reported. We're running out of time. Suddenly, the artifact emitted a powerful pulse, and a shimmering energy field enveloped the Aurora and the Xalorian ships. The enemy fire was absorbed by the shield, creating a brief moment of respite. We've got it, Kaelin exclaimed. The shield is up, but it won't last long. We need to find a way to end this. Arya's eyes narrowed. Open a channel to the Orivian ship. The communication line crackled to life once more. Orivian vessel, this is Captain Aria Solara. We have activated the artifact's defensive shield. Further attacks will be futile. Let's find a peaceful resolution. There was a long pause before the Orivian voice responded, filled with grudging respect. You are more resourceful than we anticipated, Captain. Very well, we will consider your offer. But know this, the artifact must be returned to its rightful place. Aria nodded, her relief tempered by the knowledge that their challenges were far from over. We understand. Let's discuss terms for a truce and mutual cooperation. As the Orivian vessel held its position, the tension on the bridge began to ease. The artifact's power had bought them time, but the road ahead was still fraught with uncertainty. Arya turned to her crew, her expression resolute. We've secured a temporary truce, but we need to remain vigilant. This is just the beginning of a much larger journey. With the immediate threat averted, the crew of the Aurora and their Xalorian allies prepared to negotiate with the Orivians. The artifact had proven its worth, but its true potential was still a mystery waiting to be uncovered. As they worked to secure a lasting peace, Arya knew that their mission had taken on a new dimension. They were no longer just explorers, they were guardians of a powerful legacy, charged with ensuring its safe and responsible use. The stars outside the Aurora shimmered with promise, and Arya felt a renewed sense of purpose. The future was uncertain, but with courage and determination, they would face it together. The temporary truce with the Orivians provided a much-needed respite for the crew of the Aurora and their Xalorian allies. The artifact's energy shield had held, but they knew it wouldn't last indefinitely. The next steps were crucial in securing a more permanent solution. Captain Aria Solara stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the view screen, where the Orivian vessel still loomed. The tension was palpable, but there was also a sense of cautious hope. They had managed to stave off immediate destruction, and now it was time to negotiate. "Commander Drayden, have we received any further communication from the Orivians?" Aria asked, her voice steady. Drayden shook his head. "Not yet, Captain. They're likely assessing the situation. We need to be ready for anything." Aria nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "Prepare a shuttle. I'm going over there to meet with their leaders in person. It's a risk, but we need to show them we're serious about finding a peaceful solution." Drayden's expression was one of concern, but he understood the necessity. "Understood, Captain. I'll prepare a security detail to accompany you." As the preparations were made, Aria gathered her thoughts. She knew that this meeting could determine the fate of their mission and possibly the future of relations with the Orivians. She needed to project strength and diplomacy in equal measure. On the shuttle, Aria was joined by Lyra, Dr. Kalen Voss, and a small, secure, ID team led by Lieutenant Hale. The shuttle launched from the Aurora, heading towards the Orivian vessel. The journey was tense, each moment filled with unspoken anticipation. As they approached, the Orivian ship opened a docking bay, allowing the shuttle to land. The interior of the Orivian vessel was stark and functional, with an air of austere elegance. They were greeted by a delegation of Orivians, their expressions unreadable. "Welcome aboard," said the lead Orivian, who introduced himself as High Commander Rathar. "We will escort you to the negotiation chamber." The group followed Rathar through the ship's corridors, the atmosphere heavy with formality. They entered a large chamber dominated by a circular table where several high-ranking Orivians were already seated. Aria took her place at the table, with Lyra and Kalen beside her. Rathar stood at the head, his gaze unwavering. "Let us begin. You have shown strength and restraint, Captain Solara. We respect that, but our primary concern remains the artifact. It belongs to our people." Aria met his gaze evenly. "The artifact is a powerful and potentially dangerous object. We agree that it must be handled with care. Our goal is to understand it fully and ensure it's used responsibly. We believe that by working together, we can achieve that." Rathar's eyes narrowed slightly. "You propose a joint stewardship of the artifact?" Lyra spoke up, her voice calm and persuasive. "The artifact's origins and its potential are tied to both our histories. It was created by my people, the Xalorians, but its purpose transcends ownership. By combining our knowledge and resources, we can unlock its secrets and use it for the greater good." There was a murmur of discussion among the Orivians. Rathar seemed to consider her words carefully. "We are not averse to cooperation, but trust must be earned. We need assurances that the artifact will not be used against us." Aria nodded. "We can establish a joint research team with equal representation from all parties. We will also agree to a mutual defense pact, ensuring that the artifact's power is not turned into a weapon of war." The negotiations continued for hours, with both sides presenting their concerns and proposals. The atmosphere was tense, but there was a genuine desire to find common ground. Slowly, the outlines of an agreement began to take shape. As the discussions drew to a close, Rathar leaned back in his chair, a hint of respect in his eyes. "You drive a hard bargain, Captain Solara, but your proposals are fair. We will agree to the joint stewardship and the defense pact, on the condition that any breakthroughs in understanding the artifact are shared equally." Aria extended her hand, a gesture of trust and solidarity. "Agreed. Let's work together to ensure a brighter future for all our peoples." Rathar took her hand, sealing the agreement. "Very well. We will return to our ship and prepare our scientists to join your efforts. May this be the beginning of a new era of cooperation." With the negotiations concluded, Aria and her team returned to the shuttle, the weight of the moment sinking in. They had secured a fragile but vital alliance. As they headed back to the Aurora, the sense of relief and accomplishment was palpable. Back aboard the Aurora, Aria addressed her crew. "We have reached an agreement with the Orivians. We will work together to understand the artifact and ensure its safe and responsible use. This is a significant step forward, but we must remain vigilant. The path ahead is still uncertain." The crew responded with a mixture of applause and determined expressions. They knew that their mission was far from over, but this was a major milestone. The joint research efforts resumed with renewed vigor. Orivian scientists arrived aboard the Aurora, and the laboratory buzzed with activity. The combined knowledge of the Federation, the Xalorians, and the Orivians began to unlock new insights into the artifact. Dr. Voss, Lyra, and the Orivian lead scientist Serac worked closely together, their collaboration producing significant breakthroughs. The artifact's energy patterns were mapped more accurately, revealing its potential to generate vast amounts of power and even manipulate space-time on a small scale. "We're on the verge of something incredible," Kalen said during a briefing with Aria and the senior officers. "The artifact could revolutionize our understanding of energy and technology, but we must proceed with caution. Its power is immense." Lyra added, "We must also remember the lessons of the past. The artifact was created with noble intentions, but it can be misused. Our stewardship must be guided by wisdom and restraint." As the days turned into weeks, the joint research efforts continued to bear fruit. The crew of the Aurora grew accustomed to their Orivian counterparts, and a sense of camaraderie developed. The initial distrust slowly gave way to mutual respect and cooperation. One evening, as Aria reviewed the latest research reports in her quarters, her communicator buzzed. It was Lyra. "Captain, we've made a significant discovery. You need to see this." Aria hurried to the lab, where Lyra and Kalen were gathered around the artifact, its holographic projections filling the room with a soft glow. Serac was there too, his expression one of excitement. "We've identified a new layer of the artifact's capabilities," Kalen explained. "It appears to contain a vast repository of knowledge, not just about the Xalorians, but about other ancient civilizations as well." Lyra nodded. "This could be the key to understanding the broader context of the artifact's creation and its intended purpose. It's a link to our shared history." Serac added, "We've also discovered that the artifact can project these records in a way that we can interact with them. It's like a living library." Aria felt a surge of excitement and curiosity. "Show me." Kalen activated the artifact, and the room was filled with a series of holographic images, each one depicting scenes from different worlds and times. The images were accompanied by symbols and characters, narrating the stories of long-lost civilizations. As they explored the projections, they came across a scene that took their breath away. It showed a grand council, where representatives of multiple species, including humans, Xalorians, and Orivians, gathered to discuss the creation of the artifact. The council spoke of unity, cooperation, and the shared pursuit of knowledge. "This is incredible," Aria whispered. "The artifact was meant to bring us together, not tear us apart." Lyra's eyes shone with hope. "It's a message from the past, guiding us towards a future of unity and understanding." As they continued to study the holographic records, they realized that the artifact held the potential to be a beacon of cooperation and progress for all the civilizations represented. It was a powerful reminder of what could be achieved through unity and shared purpose. The next day, Aria convened a meeting with the senior officers, Lyra, and the Orivian representatives. "We've uncovered a profound truth about the artifact," she began. "It was created as a symbol of unity and cooperation among different civilizations. Our mission now is to honor that legacy and use it to build a better future." The room was filled with a sense of purpose and determination. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they had a new guiding star to follow. The artifact was not just a source of power. It was a bridge between worlds, a testament to the potential of unity and cooperation. As the Aurora and its allies continued their mission, the sense of hope and possibility grew stronger. They were no longer just explorers or guardians. They were pioneers of a new era, guided by the wisdom of the past and the promise of the future. The stars outside the ship shimmered with renewed brilliance, and Aria felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey ahead was still uncertain, but with courage, wisdom, and unity, they would face it together. The newfound understanding of the artifact's purpose infused the crew of the Aurora with a renewed sense of mission. The holographic images depicting the Grand Council of ancient civilizations had shown them a vision of unity and cooperation that transcended their immediate struggles. It was a powerful reminder of the potential for greatness when different species worked together. Captain Aria Solara stood on the bridge, watching the stars outside the viewport. The ship hummed with activity as the joint research continued and preparations for the next phase of their mission were underway. The alliance with the Orivians was holding, and there was a sense of cautious optimism throughout the crew. "Commander Drayden," Aria said, turning to her first officer, "what's the status of the preparations for our next move?" Drayden, ever efficient, had all the details ready. "We've identified several key locations indicated by the artifact's holographic projections. These sites might hold additional artifacts or information that could help us understand the full scope of its power. The Orivians have agreed to assist us in exploring these locations." Aria nodded, satisfied with the progress. "Good. We need to stay one step ahead of any potential threats. Our priority is to secure these sites and ensure that the knowledge and power of the artifact are not misused." As the bridge crew carried out their tasks, Aria's communicator buzzed. It was Dr. Kalen Voss. "Captain, we're ready for the first exploratory mission. Lyra and I have pinpointed a site that appears to be a repository of Xalorian knowledge. We believe it's the next piece of the puzzle." Aria made her way to the lab, where Kalen, Lyra, and a team of scientists were gathered around the artifact. The holographic projections had been refined, highlighting a specific location on a distant planet within the sector. "This is our target," Kalen explained, pointing to the holographic map. "It's an ancient Xalorian library. If our readings are correct, it contains extensive records of their technological advancements and cultural history." Lyra added, "It's a vital link in understanding the full potential of the artifact. We need to explore it carefully and document everything we find." Aria nodded, feeling a sense of anticipation. "Assemble an away team. We'll leave as soon as we're ready. This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for." The preparations for the mission proceeded swiftly. A shuttle was outfitted with the necessary equipment, and a team of scientists, engineers, and security personnel was assembled. Aria, Kalen, Lyra, and Lieutenant Hale would lead the expedition. As the shuttle launched from the Aurora, the crew felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The journey to the distant planet was relatively uneventful, giving them time to review their plans and prepare for the unknown. The shuttle descended through the planet's atmosphere, revealing a landscape that was both beautiful and foreboding. Towering structures, remnants of the Xalorian civilization, loomed in the distance, their grandeur a testament to the advanced culture that had once thrived here. "We're approaching the coordinates," Lyra said, her eyes fixed on the readings. "The library should be just ahead." The shuttle touched down in a broad plaza, surrounded by massive stone pillars and intricately carved walls. The air was filled with a sense of ancient mystery, and the team disembarked with a mixture of reverence and determination. As they approached the entrance to the library, Lyra pointed out the symbols and carvings that adorned the walls. These inscriptions tell the story of the Xalorian quest for knowledge. This place was a center of learning and innovation. Kalen activated his scanning equipment, mapping the structure's interior and identifying points of interest. "We'll need to proceed carefully. The building is ancient, and we don't know what state it's in." The team entered the library, their footsteps echoing through the vast halls. Inside, they found rows upon rows of stone tablets, holographic projectors, and intricate machinery. The air was thick with the weight of history, and the team began their meticulous exploration. As they delved deeper into the library, they uncovered records that chronicled the Xalorian civilization's greatest achievements and darkest secrets. The holographic projectors brought to life scenes of scientific breakthroughs, cultural milestones, and debates about the ethical use of their technology. "This is extraordinary," Kalen murmured, his eyes wide with wonder. "The Xalorians were far more advanced than we ever imagined. Their understanding of energy and matter is beyond anything we've seen." Lyra nodded, her expression somber. "But with great knowledge came great responsibility. The Xalorians struggled with the same issues we do, how to use their power wisely and avoid falling into the trap of arrogance and greed." As they continued their exploration, they came across a sealed chamber at the heart of the library. The door was adorned with symbols of protection and warning, and it took the combined efforts of Kalen and Lyra to decipher the mechanisms that guarded it. The door slid open with a heavy groan, revealing a room filled with glowing orbs and intricate machinery. At the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested a crystalline structure that pulsed with a soft, rhythmic light. "This must be it," Lyra whispered. "The core of the library. It contains the essence of Xalorian knowledge and power." Callan approached the pedestal, his scanner buzzing with activity. "This crystal is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's a repository of pure information, encoded in a way that transcends our current understanding." As they examined the crystal, it emitted a series of pulses that activated the surrounding machinery. Holographic displays lit up, projecting images and symbols that filled the room with a kaleidoscope of light and color. "This is incredible," Callan said, his voice filled with awe. "The crystal is responding to our presence. It's sharing its knowledge with us." The team worked tirelessly to document and analyze the information being projected. The crystal's data encompassed every aspect of Xalorian life, from their technological advancements to their philosophical musings. But as they delved deeper into the crystal's secrets, they also uncovered warnings about the dangers of their technology. The Xalorians had faced catastrophic consequences when their quest for power had gone unchecked, and they had left behind these records as a cautionary tale for future generations. "We must learn from their mistakes," Lyra said, her voice heavy with emotion. "The power contained in this crystal is immense, but it must be used with wisdom and humility." As the team continued their work, a sense of urgency began to build. They knew that their time in the library was limited, and they needed to extract as much information as possible before returning to the Aurora. Meanwhile, back on the Aurora, Commander Drayden monitored the shuttle's progress with a sense of unease. The Orivians had been cooperative, but the tension was still palpable. He knew that the fragile alliance could be tested at any moment. "Lieutenant Tessa Lee, any updates from the away team?" Drayden asked, his voice calm but focused. Tessa checked her console. "The team is making significant progress, but there's been no communication for the past hour. They're deep within the library, and the structure may be interfering with their signals." Drayden frowned. "Keep trying to establish contact. Nobu, you need to ensure their safety." On the planet's surface, the team continued their work, unaware of the growing concern aboard the Aurora. As they delved deeper into the crystal's data, they uncovered plans for advanced technology that could revolutionize their understanding of energy, propulsion, and even biological enhancement. But alongside these advancements were records of the Xalorian civilization's decline. The same technology that had propelled them to greatness had also led to devastating conflicts and ultimately their downfall. "We need to be careful about how we use this knowledge," Callan said, his expression serious. "The Xalorians left these warnings for a reason. We can't repeat their mistakes." Aria nodded in agreement. "We'll take this information back to the Aurora and share it with our allies. Together, we'll find a way to use it responsibly." As they prepared to leave, Lyra activated a final sequence on the crystal, downloading the remaining data onto their portable storage devices. The crystal dimmed, its light fading as it completed the transfer. With their mission accomplished, the team made their way back to the shuttle, their minds buzzing with the enormity of what they had discovered. The journey back to the Aurora was filled with discussions about how to best utilize the Xalorian knowledge and avoid the pitfalls that had led to their downfall. Back aboard the Aurora, the team was greeted with relief and anticipation. Aria called a meeting with the senior officers, Lyra, and the Orivian representatives to share their findings. "The Xalorian library contained a wealth of information," Aria began. "We've uncovered technological advancements that could propel us forward, but we've also found warnings about the dangers of unchecked power. We must proceed with caution and ensure that this knowledge is used for the greater good." Rathar, the Orivian leader, listened intently. "We have seen what happens when power is misused. We must honor the legacy of the Xalorians by using their knowledge wisely." The room was filled with a sense of shared purpose and responsibility. The alliance between the Federation, the Xalorians, and the Orivians had been strengthened by their joint efforts, and they were united in their commitment to building a better future. As the crew of the Aurora and their allies continued to work together, they knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but they were guided by the lessons of the past and the hope for a brighter future. Captain Aria Solara stood on the bridge, watching the stars with a renewed sense of determination. The artifact had revealed its secrets, and they had a responsibility to use that knowledge wisely. The future was uncertain, but with courage, wisdom, and unity, they would face it together. The stars outside the Aurora shone brightly, a reminder of the vast possibilities that lay ahead. The journey was far from over, but they were ready to navigate the unknown and forge a new path forward, together. As the crew of the Aurora and their allies from the Xalorian and Orivian civilizations delved deeper into the knowledge they had uncovered, the sense of a shared mission grew stronger. The artifact, with its repository of ancient wisdom, had become a symbol of hope and a guiding light for their future endeavors. Captain Aria Solara stood in the command center, reviewing the latest reports from the research teams. The progress they had made was astounding, but Aria knew that the real challenge lay in applying this knowledge responsibly. "We've made incredible strides," Aria said, addressing her senior officers and the representatives from the Xalorians and Orivians. "But we must remain vigilant. The knowledge we've gained is powerful, and with great power comes great responsibility." Lyra nodded, her expression solemn. "The Xalorians learned that lesson the hard way. We must ensure that history does not repeat it. Self." High Commander Rathar, representing the Orivians, spoke with a tone of determination. "Our alliance is built on trust and mutual respect. We must continue to work together, sharing our knowledge and safeguarding the future." As the meeting concluded, the sense of unity was palpable. The crew of the Aurora and their allies were more determined than ever to ensure that the artifact's power was used for the greater good. In the days that followed, the joint research teams continued their work, focusing on practical applications of the Xalorian technology. They developed new energy sources, advanced propulsion systems, and innovative medical technologies, all designed to benefit their respective civilizations. Dr. Kalen Voss and Lyra led the efforts, their collaboration a testament to the power of cooperation. The Orivian scientists, led by Sarak, brought their unique perspectives and expertise, further enriching the research. One evening, as Aria walked through the corridors of the Aurora, she encountered Tessa Lee and Lieutenant Hale, who were discussing the latest advancements. "It's amazing how much we've accomplished," Tessa said, her eyes shining with excitement. "The new energy systems alone could revolutionize our colonies." Hale nodded in agreement. "And the medical advancements, we could extend lifespans, cure diseases that were once thought incurable. It's a new era, Captain." Aria smiled, proud of her crew and their achievements. "It is, indeed, but we must always remember the responsibility that comes with this knowledge." As they continued their conversation, an alert sounded throughout the ship. Aria's communicator buzzed, and she answered it immediately. "Solara here." Commander Drayden's voice came through, tense but controlled. "Captain, we've detected a large fleet approaching our position. It's not Orivian or Xalorian. It's an unknown entity." Aria's heart raced. "I'm on my way." The bridge was a hive of activity as Aria arrived, the crew working quickly to analyze the incoming fleet. The view screen displayed a formidable array of ships, their origins and intentions unknown. "Open a channel," Aria ordered, her voice steady. "Let's see if we can communicate with them." The communication line crackled to life, and a deep, resonant voice filled the bridge. "Federation vessel Aurora, this is Supreme Commander Talrock of the Eclipsian Dominion. You are in possession of a relic that belongs to us. Surrender it immediately, or face annihilation." Aria exchanged a glance with Drayden and Lyra. The situation was dire, but they had faced threats before and emerged stronger. "This is Captain Aria Solara of the Aurora," she replied, her tone firm. "The artifact is a symbol of unity and cooperation. We have no intention of surrendering it, but we are willing to discuss terms for mutual benefit." Talrock's voice was filled with disdain. "There will be no negotiation. The artifact is ours by right. Prepare to be boarded." The line went dead, and the tension on the bridge escalated. "Prepare for battle," Aria commanded. "We need to protect the artifact and our allies." The Aurora and its allied ships moved into a defensive formation, ready to repel the imminent attack. The Eclipsian fleet closed in, their weapons systems powering up. As the first shots were fired, the battle began in earnest. The Aurora shook under the impact of enemy fire, but its shields held firm. The Orivian and Xalorian ships fought valiantly alongside them, their combined firepower creating a formidable defense. "Focus on their lead ship," Aria ordered. "We need to take out their command structure." The bridge crew worked with precision, targeting the Eclipsian flagship. The battle was intense, with both sides taking heavy damage. The Aurora's advanced technology, combined with the artifact's defensive capabilities, gave them a fighting chance. In the midst of the chaos, Lyra and Kale worked frantically to activate a new function of the artifact. "If we can harness its full power, we might be able to disable their ships without causing destruction," Kalen said, his fingers flying over the controls. Lyra nodded, her focus unwavering. "We need to sync the artifact with the ship's systems. It's risky, but it could turn the tide." As the artifact began to pulse with energy, the Aurora's systems hummed in response. A brilliant light enveloped the ship, and a wave of energy spread outwards, enveloping the Eclipsian fleet. The enemy ships shuddered and powered down, their weapons and engines disabled. The sudden silence was almost deafening, and the bridge crew watched in awe as the Eclipsian fleet was rendered powerless. "We did it," Kalen breathed, his voice filled with relief. Aria allowed herself a moment of triumph. "Broadcast a message to the Eclipsian ships. Offer them terms for a ceasefire and cooperation." The message was sent, and the response was immediate. Supreme Commander Talrock, humbled by the display of power and restraint, agreed to a ceasefire and requested a meeting to discuss terms. The Eclipsian ships, now defenseless, were escorted to a neutral location. Aria, Lyra, and Rathar prepared to meet with Talrock and his delegation. The meeting took place on the Aurora, the atmosphere tense but hopeful. Talrock, a towering figure with an air of authority, stood before Aria. "You have shown great power and wisdom," Talrock said, his tone respectful. "We were wrong to threaten you. Let us find a way to work together." Aria extended her hand, a gesture of peace. "We seek unity and cooperation. Together, we can achieve greatness." The handshake sealed the agreement, and the room filled with a sense of relief and optimism. The Eclipsian Dominion, once a threat, was now a potential ally. As the days turned into weeks, the alliance grew stronger. The combined efforts of the Federation, the Xalorians, the Orivians, and the Eclipsians led to unprecedented advancements and a new era of peace and prosperity. The artifact, once a source of conflict, had become a beacon of hope and unity. Its knowledge and power were harnessed for the benefit of all, a testament to the potential of cooperation and shared purpose. Captain Aria Solara stood on the bridge of the Aurora, watching the stars with a sense of fulfillment. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but they had emerged stronger and more united. "We've come a long way," Aria said, her voice filled with pride. "But our journey is far from over. The stars hold many more secrets, and together we will continue to explore and discover." Her crew responded with cheers and applause, their spirits high. The future was bright, and the Aurora was ready to lead the way. As the ship moved through the vastness of space, guided by the wisdom of the artifact and the unity of its allies, Aria knew that they were on the brink of a new era, one filled with endless possibilities and the promise of a better future for all. The stars outside the Aurora shimmered with a brilliance that matched the hopes and dreams of those aboard. The journey ahead was filled with unknowns, but with courage, wisdom, and unity, they would face it together, ready to navigate the unknown and forge a new path forward.